Hello, I'm Lester Troughton and I'm the Business Development Manager at TXM Lean Solutions. And this is a short video to introduce our accelerated productivity program and show how it has helped Holley's Fine Foods ramp up production. So we're joined by TXM Lean Consultant Lee Candy.
Oh, yeah.
And Ruben from Holley's Fine Foods. So guys, tell us a bit about Holley's Fine Foods and the particular challenges, Ruben, that you faced in the last few weeks, particularly with the COVID-19 crisis.
Thanks, Lester. Yeah, so in middle of March, as we know, the government introduced a lockdown. At that point, many more consumers shopped for their food locally, and the majority of our customers are rural retailers and our convenience stores. So that puts an extra layer of trading really on our existing level. So for the last 8 weeks, we've seen sort of double trading volumes, and therefore we need to urgently find a way to keep orders flowing out to customers and for there not to be bottlenecks. And we're also mindful that Christmas, sort of peak trading season, is just around the corner. So with that on top as well, we really have to find a way to actually maximise and actually increase our overall capacity of the number of orders we can process through the warehouse in a week. We knew that if we don't get more efficient, we'll end up letting customers down later in the year. So it was like sort of now or never.
Yeah.
I think just jumping in there, I think the one of the things we talked about before, and you mentioned a couple of times, Ruben, and so did Scott, was they had some really good ideas. They just didn't know how to piece it together and how to bring it together so it worked coherently across the business. So a lot of our discussion was about taking those ideas on board, coming up with some other ideas that fit the lean model, and then bringing them together so we can actually create a plan of saying, this is what you do first, this is what you do second, and it will merge together as one big value-added output, if you like. So that was what really, from my perspective, where Holleys needed the support, was just that extra bit of help, stitching it all together.
And can you give me some examples, Lee, just a couple of typical examples of the sorts of inefficiencies that you've been tackling already?
Yeah, so I mean, Holleys is all about taking a product off the shelf and then loading into a van. And I know that sounds really simple, but that's effectively what we're doing. In the background, we've got to order the right stuff at the right time as well, which we're not doing as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So we need to increase pick speed. So get rid of the wasted time in picking. So today we talked about how many products we pick high frequently and where are they currently in the warehouse. And what we're starting to find is actually there's a small number. If you look at Pareto's law, it's really applicable here. There's a small number of products that actually have a massive impact in both the sales and the number of picks per day. So once we've highlighted those and found them, we can look at putting those in the right places so we can pick faster, less footsteps, less reaching, and we can repeat those activities over and over again. We're also looking at 3 other projects. One of those, loading the vans faster. So instead of spending 30 to 40 minutes a van, our target is to load the van in 5 minutes. So that's the challenge. And the other one is how do we flow into goods in? So that's working with our suppliers and looking at how our suppliers can help sort before it gets to us so we can flow faster back onto the shelves. So effectively, the other big step change is to pick in less a time window, but pick faster. So we've got more of a time window to replenish in between picks. So that's another challenge we're working on as well. And it seems to be coming together. We brought it together based on the value stream mapping. So we spent a couple of days looking at waste, creating a current state map, looking at how we can improve things based on the future state map. And today we've been doing a lot of analysis in terms of what products are good for us in terms of high pick frequencies and adding to the sales, to the top line, and where should they go. So bringing it all together is what we've got out of the 4 action plans that we're about to create with the teams. And they would last 6-7 weeks. So we've got a window of around 6-7 weeks implementation. So it's a pretty fast project and it's a lot going on, but it's perfectly doable if you've got the engagement with the teams, which I believe we have. So that's good.
I think that's great. It's amazing what you can get done in such a short period of time, which is the whole point of this project, is to get things moving as quickly as possible and condense some of the actions that might normally take several months and get them done quickly over a few weeks. So we've actually got a video that shows some of these things, which I'd like to show now.
That's good. So in a warehouse, what we've got are the value-add steps are you pick, taking it off the shelf, put it in a box or crate, and then probably sticking a label on it. Everything else is non-value add. So if we take a quick look around your factory, your warehouse, the movement is non-value add. So if you look here, we've got ladders. I take it, these pickers use this.
Sure. So ladders are used for picking and also for replenishment. Yeah. Obviously, it probably takes quite a long time to pick a ladder, so lots of help with that.
That's true. We've got 20, 30 seconds of your time there going up and down. If you remove the need to go up too high and stretch, then you'll save time with picking.
Sure.
Also, if we go here, the movement throughout the whole facility in terms of moving products around is a lost opportunity as well. So what we'll be looking for is move less, pick more frequent and less stretching. If you can do that, you'll pick faster. That sounds good. And that's pretty much it. So remove double handling, remove the time it takes to pick, so you can actually go from value add step to value add step. That's what we're trying to do.
I can see that carrot you pick onto trolleys, from lead into cages to double handling.
That's exactly it. Perfect.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. So I'd like to share my screen now and just go through some of the important aspects of the program. Okay, so the Accelerated Productivity Program covers all areas of production, manufacturing, and also the logistics. If you're a distribution business, it works equally well, but also would include office processes. Obviously, they have an impact on the efficiency and productivity. Also, things like stock control, stock levels, and working with your supply chain, developing those supplier relationships. And making sure that when employees come back from being furloughed, or if you've had some staff that are returning to the business or new employees, that they are inducted into the new processes and procedures, and that would include social distancing. This doesn't replace our standard lean program. It's really the core part of the transformation phase, making sure that we are really focused on getting short-term results. The emphasis is not an overall lean deployment. We are really just looking at rapid change here. And if you've been through a lean transformation, then it can be deployed within that. It won't conflict with any of those other changes that have been brought about by a lean transformation. You have a senior lean consultant working on site with your teams, working in groups and running workshops, such as short-term blitz, but obviously some of that can be done remotely these days if applicable. It generally takes between 4 and 5 weeks, but if you're a smaller business, it might be quicker. And if you're a larger business, it might take a bit longer. In terms of the cost, it depends on the scale of the challenge and the intensity of the number of the staff. So it's difficult to put a figure on it, but it's significantly less than a standard full lean project. So if you want to know more, just get in touch with me. That's my email address, lester.troughton@txm.com, or just call me on the mobile and we can have a chat and talk about things in more detail. Okay, so that's it. And I'd like to say thanks to Ruben at Holley Fine Foods and Lee Candy.
Thanks, Lester.
Okay, that's been great, guys. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.